Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. You'll have to excuse me today. I've had a really banging tension headache for a day. It's abated somewhat, but I'm feeling rather tender and fragile, a little bit like I'm hungover, but we all know I don't do that. So, also the perfunctory like, dislike, comment, subscribe if you feel like it. If you are subscribed, make sure you are still subscribed to the channel because YouTube has that glitch bug. Who knows? Today's subject matter is a little bit more serious. Basically what's happened is some sort of family vlogger, one of those types, Nikki Philippi and her husband, some bloke, I'm not going to bother learning his name, these people are horrible and irredeemable. I don't care about his name. We're going straight in today, we're not fucking around. They put down their 9-year-old dog after the dog bit the child. But of course the story doesn't end there. There's lots of context to this situation in which these people are the bad guys, whichever way you look at it. So we're going to look at their video, then I'll discuss some things that I found myself. Nikki Philippi, 1.28 million subscribers. This is the hardest decision we've ever made. Thank you to everyone who has messaged me with kind words of encouragement and prayers. Yep, praying's gonna get you out of this one. I truly appreciate it more than you know. I don't have the time to respond to everyone, but I just want to let you know that. Good thing she doesn't have the time to respond to anyone. She's preempted that actually by turning off the comments and the like to dislike ratio. So maybe on some level these people know that they've done something wrong, but we will find out.
Hi guys, I feel awkward just like opening this video. There is no cheery way to open this video. And so we're here today to share with you what's been going on in our life. Now, you already know, I mean, by the title, well, no, you don't know by the title, but you know if you follow us on Instagram.
I have never seen this woman before, ever, before this happened, right? I don't buy any of this little act. The sighing, the exaggerated facial motions, I'm no body analysis person. What are they called? Body language analysis people? That, not them, don't even know the title of that job description, so clearly not that. But I don't buy any of this little act that's going on.
And so I'm just gonna jump to the point and then we're gonna back up and tell you the story and explain. So over the weekend, going into the weekend on Friday, we had to put Bowser to sleep.
Spoiler alert, they didn't have to. They could have rehomed him.
Man, it's so awkward saying the words. I feel like I don't even...
Oh my god, it's so awkward and quirky that I killed our dog. Should I be doing this video?
Know how to quite say it. And, you know, Dan is with me because Bowser was, I mean, he was our dog, but he was Dan's dog.
Do you reckon Dan got a say in it?
And this was not a decision we came to lightly, you know, when Dan and I were first talking about this and just how this was all going to unfold and just having conversations around it. One of the things that we said, or I said, was I was like, people aren't going to get it. Like, people are going to be upset. And Dan's response was, oh, that was a bird.
I know I said this is a serious topic and I should be taking this seriously, but what is going on? What was that? It was a bird. What is this video?
Dan's response was, nobody's going to be as upset as I'm upset, or as upset as I am.
Sure, I believe you. Thousands wouldn't.
And so that's the position that we're in today. So I feel like, I don't know, do you want to say hi? I feel like I'm just like talking.
Hi. Bit passive aggressive, innit? I have never seen these people before this happened, so this whole display is fascinating to me. How do these people get like over 1 million followers? Anyway.
Well, I mean, we've had Bowser for almost a decade, and he's
What is this? This subject is really serious, but I cannot take this woman seriously. It feels like everything she's doing is just calculated. Like to try to look cute or vulnerable or something. Am I reading too much into this?
For those of you who know him or have been around him, he's an angel, but you know, he likes to get rowdy, and that's part of the reason why I liked him. You know, one of the things that I liked about him. But
so he's an angel, but he likes to get rowdy, and he bit your child, so you put him down. Not a lot of this adds up.
you know, for many years, for most of his life, he was an extremely dangerous animal outside the walls of my house. So he was definitely an outside animal that I had to keep inside.
So for years he was dangerous, and you didn't think to train him properly or rehabilitate him or give him to people who felt more responsible, were more capable of training him. Before anyone comes at me with, oh, well, some dogs can't be trained, you know, even guard dogs that have specifically been trained to be aggressive, you know, even like guard dogs and army dogs can retire and be rehomed. And you're aware of that, right? This was not an army dog or a guard dog. This was a dog that they didn't train properly.
Well, and Bowser was attacked when he was a puppy, and we never really talked about that very much. But that was a big turning point in Bowser's personality. So prior to the attack, Bowser could go to dog parks. Bowser was just calmer in general. And then after the attack, it just triggered something in him, and he was attacked by another bull terrier, actually my parents' old bull terrier. But it's something that can happen with the breed, and so ever since then, things really took a turn.
Things took a turn, and you didn't try to rectify that turn. Again, this is your fault, not the dog's fault. Your fault.
Well, I mean, I don't need to get. There's been multiple instances, but. You know, we could have put Bowser down a really long time ago.
What is that fake sign that she's doing? And what do you mean we could have put him down a long time ago? So you could have put him down a long time ago, right? You knew that he was aggressive and had aggressive tendencies and issues and trauma, and then you decided to have a kid.
And several times, and I've just been putting the day off.
Because you don't want to make that decision. That's the thing.
Yes,
when you love an animal, you don't want to make that decision.
You could have made the decision to have him rehomed. You could have bothered to do that. You don't immediately have to jump to killing a living creature.
Yes, he's seriously injured a couple different dogs, including Zoe, who's standing right here. Had her stitched up a couple times, but you know, it's he's such a powerful animal that just the tiniest fraction of a second of just a oops, you know, and he doesn't mean it, or like he snaps out of it, and it's just.
So you chose to keep him, not train him properly, and then you chose to have a kid in a household where there was a quote-unquote dangerous animal around. Babies who are... well, we all know what babies do when they become toddlers. They pull on things, they yank things, they like to bite things, etc, etc. So you thought it was smart to have a baby and a dangerous animal in the same home. Some people are just so stupid. I can't deal. Why am I doing this video? There's no getting through to some people.
It's not good. So, it just got to a point to where, you know, I had a son and it didn't work out for them.
Do you not want to share the specifics of that?
Once Logan got to the point of being able to crawl around and run around by himself, you know, he's really grabby too. He grabbed onto Bowser's ear, and Bowser didn't do anything, you know, he's that calm, gentle giant that lives in my house, but, you know, Logan got him so good that if you know what an MMA fighter looks like, or a wrestler, they have that cauliflower ear, it just balloons up. That's what happened to Bowser's ear. You might have gotten a couple glimpses of it.
So not only did they not train the dog, they didn't train their own toddler, to, hey, maybe don't yank so hard on a dog's ear that it becomes a cauliflower ear. Obviously, it's not the toddler's fault that the toddler got bit. Obviously not. You know, kids, they're going to go around and do things, and I don't have children, I don't fucking know. They're going to try to like learn boundaries, right? But then it's the job of the parent to supervise what's going on and make sure that the kid isn't, you know, because a little kid would touch a hot plate, but the role of the parent is to make sure that they don't do that. And it's not the dog's fault that the dog bit the child if the child had a tendency of like severely hurting the dog. The dog is going to be scared. It's going to, you know, bite back out of fear more than anything, right? From what they're telling us. So it's not the dog's fault. It's not the child's fault. It's these two's fault.
There was one incident that happened. Bowser got Logan in the face. And it actually happened 20 minutes before we were supposed to leave to the airport to go visit her parents. So obviously it wasn't bad, but Logan still is
has a little mark.
He's still healing up from a little mark on his face from Bowser's little, we call him his dolphin teeth. So
and it happened in a way that, like, I mean, it almost doesn't matter because the end result was the same. But in the spirit of telling the story, it wasn't like Bowser attacked Logan. Just like you said, it was like
defensive.
Yeah, Logan tried to take food from him. Oh, sorry to close the window.
So not only that, right? Because if you have a dog and you can't take food from the dog is territorial over the food, and it's not a stray that you've adopted. You know, this is a dog that they've had for almost a decade, right? So they've had this dog clearly since it was a puppy, and it's still territorial over food. Did they train this dog at all? Now, I'm not one of those people, right, that says if a dog bites a person, it should be immediately be put down. That's it. There's always context. What's the severity? Firstly, what's the situation that's happened? Has a human, you know, because animals can't communicate with us. There are certain things that they can do, like growl or hiss, to tell us that they're getting pissed off. But, you know, if a human is there, like, poking and pushing and hitting a dog, and then the dog turns around, snaps, and, like, bites a human once, out of fear, or, you know, really saying, hey, you're hurting me, like, fuck off. No, I don't think that's grounds for killing an animal. I really, sue me, dislike this video. I don't think that's grounds. Now, if a dog or an animal, let's go with a dog. If a dog, for no reason at all, none at all, no context, turns around and snaps and mauls someone, different story. But if a dog has had no history of snapping out or hurting a human before, and then one day nips or bites, but doesn't go further than that, I think that you can rehabilitate, you can retrain. Worst comes to worst, you can give away to a no-kill shelter. This dog was in a position where it could have done serious damage to this kid, who, as far as the dog is concerned, this kid that, like, just hurts it. But the dog bit the child, which obviously is a bad thing. But the dog should have been rehomed, I think. Clearly context matters. Clearly these two, from what they're telling us, and I got some other stuff to back it up after we watched this video together, these two haven't done a good job of training their dog. The dog should have gone into the hands of, you know, people more adept.
Yeah, it happened in a moment where Logan stole food from him and, you know, really got in the mix.
Like that lady said, you're always waiting for the worst thing to happen, and eventually it's like, is it going to get to a point to where someone else has to put him down, or I'm forced to do it because of something that horrible happened?
What are they talking about? They're acting as though he was a ticking time bomb. How many times can I say rehome?
Yeah, well, sorry, you look like you're about to segue into something.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say two things. One, so, I mean, geez, I have so many thoughts around this. As you guys know, we're getting ready to move, and we haven't said where, so if you're like, where are you moving? It's because we haven't said it yet. But you know, we weren't sure what was going to happen with Bowser, because every time we move with Bowser, it is hard because he's special needs, like he said. So there's a lot that goes into transporting Bowser.
Is she saying that moving was a factor in putting down her dog because it would have been more convenient for them? How do you have so much ego and confidence that you are right, that you share this kind of stuff with the internet? Because I think if she knew that she was being awful, she wouldn't, or she would at least lie. They'd at least lie if they knew that they were being awful, right? They'd say, oh, you know, he just got in a freak accident and died, or something to that degree, if they knew they were being awful. But clearly they don't know they're being awful, and that's why they feel that they can just share these terrible truths with us. No? Am I right or wrong? I don't know. This is baffling.
And even picking a
like, how untouchable do you think you are? That you would be happy putting this up on the internet and thinking that, well, she said, she knew that some people were going to be upset, but clearly she didn't understand the extent of the backlash.
And even picking a new home for Bowser, like, there's a lot to consider in that. And so it was really, like, it was weird to have him attack Logan, you know, right before we're going to different places to possibly look to move.
Is she saying it was almost fortuitous that the dog attacked the kid right before they were going to move? Almost as if God told the dog, hey, bite the kid and get put down, so it makes moving easier for, what they call them in The Cat in the Hat? Thing 1 and Thing 2. Tell me why I got it.
And this was not what we expected. So the way that this unfolded and what he mentioned about the comment waiting for the next bite, we actually attempted to rehome Bowser, because like we said, we know that, I mean, he's our little like clown. He was our clown angel. Like, I don't, it's, sorry if I'm awkward. It's just finding the words are really awkward because it's, you know, emotional. And we contacted the Humane Society.
He was our angel, and yet we were waiting for the next bite. Please figure out your story before you start telling us. I'm confused.
And we had a long discussion with someone over there, and basically she made it clear to us that rehoming Bowser was not an option because he had been with us from birth, basically. I mean, Dan was he was Dan's spirit animal. Dan was his spirit human, you know, so they were bonded. And,
what the fuck does that have to do with anything, right? So you're saying that at 9 years old, bull terriers live on average between 10 and 14 years, so he could have lived another 5 years if this hadn't happened. You're saying that at 9 years old, he was too old to be rehomed because you spoke to one person. I don't believe it. I don't believe that they bothered speaking to one person, or if they did, what? I was looking at some dog shelters in London earlier, and there were some dogs on there that were 10 years old. What are you talking about? They're not too old to be... Huh?
Because, I mean, seriously, the guy that came over to help us with Bowser's passing, to put Bowser down, he's from Australia, and that was one of the first things he said when he got there, was he was like, whoa, these are the dogs that are used to hunt hogs because they're so strong. And he's like, you're so lucky that this didn't result in anything worse. And that was what the woman on the phone had said. We kind of relayed to her all of the instances where Bowser had shown aggression and we were scared. And by the end, she was like, it sounds like you're just waiting for Bowser's worst attack to happen.
There are people out there who can train strong dogs and take them on, that you can rehome them to. This is annoying.
It was so hard because when you make that kind of a decision, or you make the appointment,
I'm sorry.
Tell me off for saying this, but I believe him more than I believe her.
Never crossed my mind, oh, now we're gonna have to put Bowser down. I just thought, oh, he's just got to be in the right home. But after, you know, getting counsel from multiple professionals who are with dogs all the time, all of them said that they all said the same thing.
Well, nobody knows how to take care of Bowser except for me.
No comment.
He'll run so hard that he'll try to go through the fence, and so he'll beat himself up on his head, and he'll run back and forth. You know, scuttlebutting is a bull terrier thing. They will.
Is she looking at herself in the viewfinder?
I just want to clarify that that wasn't a lie. That he in a lot of ways really has been fine and was fine with both of them. You know, they were so good with him in so many ways, but it got harder the older he got, because, you know, when he was a baby, it was like Bowser wasn't going to go out of his way to aggress on Logan. So everything was fine. Like, but once he got older and he could move and he got feistier, it was Logan in Bowser's space. And Logan couldn't help but grab at him and try to steal things from him and try to interrupt him when he was eating or scream at him. And so it was almost kind of unfair to Bowser, because it was like,
Bowser could have gone to people who don't have children. Some animals just aren't good with kids, and that's fine.
He's a good dog-ish. I mean, we told you we warned him years ago thinking he was going to have to go because of those things, but he wasn't doing really anything to Logan. But the problem was, once Logan got older and once Bowser crossed that line, I mean, I don't even feel like we have to explain it.
Bowser's new routine is, you know, he's got his normal corner and he's taking a rest.
I wish I'm getting petty now because I'm getting annoyed listening to all this. I wish she would put that coffee cup down. Something about the way she's drinking that coffee is off-putting.
Bowser's in the mood and his attention is on him, he'll walk over to Bowser, and Bowser doesn't want to get grabbed on, so he knows he has to get up and move.
Every time.
So he
has
to get up quickly.
Or relaxing. It's like,
yes, and it's always accompanied.
Why is she being so scatty? Am I being unfair? Am I unfairly like zoning in on this woman? Or does anyone else see what I mean? She's being really scatty.
It's always accompanied.
and checking herself out in the viewfinder and swishing her hair. This is a very odd video.
You know.
Yeah, things just became more complicated in this mid phase of like, he's not a baby, but he's not old enough to know better how to control himself really. And so that just made Bowser really unpredictable. And thinking that like, God willing, we have more children, well then it's going to start all over again. And then who knows what kind of chaos is going to be there with 2 kids. Combined with the fact that Bowser is older, combined with the fact that he already got physical on Logan, combined with the fact that he's done this before. It was so much.
Yeah, it's not like we scheduled him to get put down the day we got back from vacation.
No, we hadn't even thought about it still when we left.
Why did she just react like that? It's like someone did turn around and be like, did you schedule this?
We were just like, Bowser's got to get out of here. He's got to be rehomed. Like, this is not the appropriate home for him. And like I said, it was that conversation with that woman that was like, you guys, you can't.
Well, we were out the door, right? And in the moment...
One conversation with one woman led you to not bothering to rehome.
I'm thinking, you know, I grew up with the movie Old Yeller, and I wanted to pick Bowser up by the back of the neck and take him into the backyard and put him down right there.
That is a very strange thing to say on YouTube, that you wanted to get your dog, your soul, no, spirit animal, they were just saying, and Bowser, this guy was his spirit human. You wanted to get your dog, take him to the back garden, put a gun against his head, and shoot him in the head, Old Yeller style. How did they film this, say all this stuff, edit it, think it was all fine, and then put it on the internet? This is odd.
We actually didn't end up leaving that day. We ended up going to the airport, and then there was just a few things that happened. Drama. And we just canceled it and scheduled it for the next day. So, you know, we came back and we all had the best day together. So,
yeah, so like you said, it was really rough.
I wish she would have a cough drop or something, because she keeps clearing her throat throughout this entire video and it's annoying.
You sounded like you were going to say something. No,
it was just the worst day.
It was the worst day. It was amazing because, you know, everything comes to an end. And if you're going to have, you know, if you have to have an end, which everything does, It was a beautiful, perfect ending.
I'm sorry, to me, these people are so bizarre. Well, everything has to come to an end eventually. Even though could have lived for a few more years, but hey, everything's got to come to...
In our living room, in our arms, calm. You know, he only had one moment of tension, which is when he first, you know, used the needle on him. He freaked out a little bit, but then he calmed right down, and we were able to hug him and kiss him and hold him and thank him, you know. And that was a lot of like so your time with Bowser, it was a lot of like fun things, feeding him and driving him around and hugging him and playing with him. My time with Bowser, I just spent time hugging him, and it was kind of a combination of like telling him how I felt and how grateful I was to him for all those years.
I might be wrong, I can only go off of my hunch, my gut feeling. And remember, I am ridiculously cynical and jaded and yada yada yada, you know. Looking at the man's face, I do believe that he's upset about this. I do believe that he's upset about putting down his dog, even though he's saying ridiculously silly things like I wanted to old yell at him. I think he's been short-sighted, irresponsible, etc., but also I do think he is upset. This woman, though, she just keeps, like, blabbering. I don't believe she is being genuine.
Combined with kind of like prayer to God and thanking God, you know, for giving us this time with him. You already know how I feel. Like, I think everything is created by God. I think that creation is so beautiful, and Bowser was so unique and special and perfect for our family.
I'm not here to talk about religion or whatever, you know, you do you kind of thing, live and let live. How can you have that belief and then go and have your dog be put down for convenience and irresponsibility? Something's not adding up here. And you know, if you take offence to that and you're a Christian, then forgive me, that's what you're meant to do. That's an old Bill Hicks joke, sorry.
And you know, we didn't have kids for what, how many years of our marriage? 11, 12 years of our marriage. So Bowser really was like, he was our kid in our kidless years.
Yeah, but as soon as your kid starts misbehaving, you generally don't put them down, do you?
We had a large chapter with him, and we're just so grateful to God for allowing us to have him and love him and hold him and care for him, and for making us feel safe and protected, and all the laughter. And you know, yeah, I don't even really know where I feel like that's kind of it, huh? Yeah, we didn't want to do this, obviously.
She's fidgeting so much throughout this video. But again, I haven't seen her other content. I don't know if that's just her mannerisms or not, so...
I think Bowser he was the best animal I ever owned. And now I think the Bull Terrier is my favorite animal, period.
Oh.
So.
Am I being unfair, or is she acting upset? I don't know anymore. Right, I'm not watching the rest of that. So then I found this Twitter thread. Yeah. Nikki Filippi put her dog down because he bit her son, but first she had to have a photo shoot with the dog, which included her son that was bit. And here are the pictures. So she was worried about Bowser hurting her son, yet not so worried that it couldn't compromise a good photo shoot. Am I going crazy? I mean, that's really morbid, isn't it? Like, the dog's about to be put down and you want to have a photo shoot first. I understand knowing that an animal's passed, so you take pictures with like when my rats, when they were sick and it was obvious that, you know, they were going to pass soon, etc., etc. So I took as many pictures as I could, right? Or any animal that I've had. But there's a bit of a difference. Like, this is quite morbid because you're getting the dog put down. The dog is going to die because of you, because of like your choice. So you have a little photo. Am I crazy? So even the sister commented, according to her sister, he didn't even deserve a chance to be home because he had been with them for 9 years. Generally, I tend to stay quiet on the internet, so many of you might not know, but I'm Shayna, or Ivy, Nikki's younger sister. I've been on and off working anywhere from part-time to full-time for Nikki over the last 7 years. I've personally dog sat for Nikki and Dan on many occasions. While Bowser is part of our family and loved by all of us, I 100% stand behind Nikki and Dan for deciding to put Bowser down. Since Logan was born, his aggressive behaviour made the whole house feel more unsettled/unsafe. Now that I've babysat Logan several times and first-hand witnessed Bowser display aggressive behaviour, it just doesn't make sense for him to live with the Philippines. That said, it also doesn't make sense to rehome him since he's lived with them for 9 years. Let that sink in, that's a long time. In doggy years, he's 56. So, right, my dad is like 63. Shall I just knock him off in a few years' time? Because, you know, he's getting old and he can't be rehomed. My dad doesn't watch my videos, so it's fine that I can say that. But, you know, like, that's ridiculous. Older dogs get rehomed all the time. What are you talking about? Like, these people they must think that they're right. I totally agree that in this instance, the most humane choice was to put him down. Lots of emojis to show you that she's serious. I'm so sorry, sis. He was a very good and bad boy. We all love the Philippines, including all the pets very much, and we're sad with you guys. Okay, he's so aggressive, yet this is how they played with him, swinging their smaller dog in his face to try to rile him up.
3, 4.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? Spillsesh, sorry, on Twitter said, "You're telling me the dog was super chill about this? Will Bowsy eat my hand?" They're grabbing Bowser's face whilst he's eating, but they painted him to be this demon aggressive dog. It doesn't line up. Their story doesn't line up. Yeah, I do think the bloke is upset, but I don't believe that woman. Soz. It looks like they encouraged the dog to be aggressive because they found it funny, and then it went too far, so they decided to kill the dog. This whole situation is ridiculous. They are both fools. I really don't think anything more needs to be said other than I don't think they should own dogs. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.